In the matter of the people of the state of California versus Orenthal James Simpson, case number BA097.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you.
We cannot be a podcast that is known for judging people's wine drinking behaviors, Taylor.
No, I think typically white wine, you drink it colder. Like I don't really like when there's like a cold red wine, like when someone gives it to you cold. I'm like, I don't know, I don't love this. I like want it to be warm, but like who knows? If
we can have this out with Sorsha in like 3 weeks or 4 weeks in person.
Oh, cool. Maybe we'll do that. Sounds good.
So we are. Wait, do I have to do the intro? Wait, why don't you do the intro this time? You never do the intro.
Okay. Well, I thought you did the intro. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Doomed to Fail, the podcast where we cover a historical or true crime relationship or event that was doomed to fail. My name is Taylor. I'm joined here by my friend Fars. Fars, how are you doing today?
That was acceptable. You crushed it. You absolutely crushed it. I'm almost out of the job at this point. I'm doing great. I'm wondering, who is the celebrity we hate this week besides Justin Timberlake? Who else is there? Who's done something that is deplorable?
Wait, are you baiting me for your topic?
No, it's a new segment I'm starting called the Celebrity of the Week.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Who do we hate this week? Wait, I didn't have one prepped. We already talked about Justin Timberlake because I finished Britney Spears' bio. Talked about Jessica Biel because of the anti-vax thing. What else?
Shit, I don't know. Nobody else has drawn my ire this week.
All right, well, I'm sure something will happen.
We'll sit on it for a little bit. I also, Taylor, want you to know that I came up with another multi-part series idea this week. And I was going to do it for this episode, and then I realized that it is going to take fucking like months of research because it is like very nuanced.
Well, I'm excited. That's very fun.
More stuff coming up. So we can go ahead and dive into an actual topic that is substantive to the point of this podcast, which is two people who came together and did awful things, and that is true crime, which I've deviated from into engineering disasters, submarine disasters for some fucking reason, all of it. But this time, I'm going back to our bread and butter.
Okay, I'm ready.
Are you excited?
I'm super excited.
I don't know where my notes are. Oh, God.
Just wing it.
I don't know where I put all these. I just did some. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, Taylor, I'll start with like the premise about how I started here. So, first off, it's not called the. Wait.
What is happening?
Hold on. I just had a stroke. Hold on.
I do have Fars' address, everyone, if you're worried. I do have the ability to call 911 if I lose Fars in the middle of this.
No, we're back. We're back. So, everybody, is it just me, or is the name of that serial killer they caught the architect? Is it the Gigolo Beach killer?
The Gilgo Beach killer?
Okay, Okay. So, I was listening to a podcast
Are you just
about
listening
this guy.
to it, but you're not seeing it? I see. Yes.
Okay, so I was listening to the podcast about this guy earlier, and they kept saying the Gilgo Beach killer, and I was like, this guy's not trustworthy. He can't even fucking say the name of the beach right. And then I Googled it and was like, oh, it is. I've been calling it Gigolo Beach, and it's Gilgo Beach. So I'm
think
wrong.
so.
Yeah. But anyways, I got my idea for this off of that podcast I listened to. Not about that, but about the whole concept of a Lonely Hearts Killer. Have you heard of these guys?
I can imagine. But tell me more.
Yes. So it is essentially guys like this Max Schuerman guy, the Gilgo Beach killer, who lures people in because of like sexuality or whatever. There's like multiple versions of this. The most perverse version is like where you lure somebody in because you're like really trying to like tell them you love them and want to be with them, but really you're just out to kill them or steal their shit. And it was a really good podcast, actually, but it brought up this guy named Philip Markoff, who's a Craigslist ad killer. Remember that guy?
Ooh.
He was
I
like,
think so. But he
he
killed
was
people who
so
like did like
gross.
massages. Yeah.
Yeah, so he would kill like prostitutes. He would find prostitutes in the want ads of Craigslist, and then lure them to like a hotel somewhere. He actually only killed one person. He was an idiot. So this guy was like, okay, this has nothing to do with my story. I just gone on a rant. This guy Philip Markov. He's the Craigslist killer, and over the span of like 5 days, he lured three women to his hotel room, like prostitutes, and then robbed two of them and killed one of them. And he was caught 2 days later. Like he
I think we
was
say
fucking
sex
stupid.
workers. Totally. I think we say sex workers. But
Fair, fair. We'll call them
um
sex workers. But
but he was like, is he the one who was engaged to someone? That's like during
yeah,
this
this guy was so
thing.
pathetic. So like I looked him up and I was like, God, you look exactly like the guy I would imagine to this. He was engaged. He was about to start medical school, and then he just started like for the 1 week his fiance was out of town. It was just such a cliche of like I have it all made. I'm just like a rich kid, and Daddy's gonna take care of
Hmm.
everything. He's had this whole. He started trying to commit suicide constantly. The day his fiance broke up with him in jail, which was like he's indicted on a murder charge, he like tried to commit suicide that day, and then he tried to commit suicide again on the first day that their wedding was supposed to be. And then a year passes, and he actually commits suicide on the 1 year anniversary of when they should have gotten married. So like, at 24 years old, like he was just like I don't know, just gross. But
Yeah.
anyways,
Yeah.
so that put me onto the concept of the Lonely Hearts Killer. And so I went back a little bit in time into the 1940s ish to find a couple that were basically this concept of the Lonely Hearts Killer. Their name was Raymond Fernandez and Martha Beck. So I'm going to start by discussing them as individuals and then how they came together and what they ended up doing. Cool? Cool.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
So the main antagonist. So you're gonna get upset with me over this, but I'm just gonna deal with it. So let's start with that. So Martha Beck, she was born in 1920 in Florida. Her childhood basically sounds like a tuba player just followed her around everywhere. She apparently had some medical condition that caused her to gain a ton of weight, and so she was basically an outcast. I looked up pictures of her. She's objectively huge by even today's standards. So back then she must have been huge, huge because I looked at the average weight classes, not the weight classes. I looked at the average weights of people back then, and men and women both weigh 17 to 20 pounds heavier today than they did back then. And this woman was fucking, sorry, this woman was big. She's big for today's standards. So she was fucking huge by 1940 standards.
What's her name again?
Martha Beck. She
Okay,
looks
keep
like
going.
Mike Ditka. Uh, and so sorry, I'm on one right now.
Jesus.
So, anyways, it's fascinating though. Like we all weigh like so. The average woman weighed 130 back then, and they weigh 166 now. The average man weighed 160 back then, and now we weigh 195. I'm
Yeah, I mean, I
I,
think I think we know why that happened.
I'm a bit of an outlier in this, just so we're clear. So I'm not fat shaming anybody. I'm just saying that. Okay, so like long story short is like because of her weight, she couldn't work. She couldn't attract men. She she was sexually abused as a kid. Like her mom beat her. Like this woman sounds like she had a horrible, horrible life. Like she's a horrible person. So let's not feel bad for her because I'm going to tell you what
Right.
she ended up doing with people. But also, she sounds like somebody that just should have been just bashed against a rock as an infant because she was going to have a shitty life anyways.
Well, it sounds like she had a shitty life and maybe didn't have a chance. And there's also plenty of people out there that find fat chicks attractive. So I just want to say that out loud.
This
It
is
doesn't
not a
mean
civil
that
rights show. I don't. This is
zero
not like
people would find her
we are not a
attractive. It
political
means that
show.
you don't find her attractive. It doesn't mean that you can't find someone. Anyone can find someone to like them. That's all. Continue.
That's true. I found people like me, and I'm grossly overweight. So moving
We
on.
are, you know. Hmm.
Why are you looking at me like that? You can't see Taylor's face. She's making like a dagger's
I was
knife.
smiling at you because I'm like, I don't ever want to weight shame anybody. And I know that you knew that was what we were going to argue about, but I feel like weight is not an excuse for being like, nobody loves me. 'Cause that's not true.
Okay,
But it's not
that
the only
is
thing that was going on in her life. We'll continue.
that is not true. Okay, let me give you different examples. When she was coming up, there was no Instagram, there was no internet, there's barely telephones, there's Western Unions. She can't go to the next town and find the guy that's really into her for who she is. She's like stuck in her town, and like that's where it gets worse. It actually gets a lot worse than this.
I just think you can find a guy there, but I don't. But I don't even feel like this is something that is her problem. So continue. Keep
Okay,
going.
so
I don't
moving
care.
on.
Okay.
Moving on. She ultimately, because she couldn't find work in Florida, she actually had a nursing degree, couldn't find work as a nurse. They intimated that this had to do with her weight. I don't know why, but it did, apparently. So she ended up moving to California, and there she began working as a nurse, and she ended up getting pregnant with a kid there, like a one night stand type of situation. The father refused to get involved, and so given the era that we're in at this time, she told everyone that the father was killed in World War II. Which, like, she was, like, kind of almost right because apparently this guy, when he found out that she was pregnant, he threw himself into San Francisco Bay to kill himself. And apparently he got dragged out and rescued and then was like, okay, suicide isn't the answer. I maybe will hopefully go to war and get killed, but running away from Martha is the only answer. And so he just disappeared. To his credit, though, he was a serviceman. So he was an actual army person. So she was kind of close. Like, he almost could have been a dead soldier.
Well, I mean, I think he did the right thing by just leaving and not killing her,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because
exactly.
we've talked
No,
about that before, being like, don't kill your spouse, just leave. Just leave. And
you
it
can
seems
leave.
easier to do, maybe then, but get the fuck out of there.
Okay, so we're painting a picture here of Martha, who now in the 1940s is with child with no husband. Like, not a good situation to be in.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I think it's right. I'm saying that's the nature of the time. So, she tells everyone that the father was killed in war, which is like kind of like an awesome trick because at that time everyone was really sad for her, and because all this happened in California and she ends up moving to Florida, nobody can check her story anyways. She was in California, and she gets pregnant with a guy that's her
No,
husband apparently, and like it's an awesome story.
no, I think most of the human history, it seems pretty easy to make shit up. It seems harder now because of the internet, but you could just like make shit up. Seems kind of fun.
Think of how many cakes and cookies you would get. Oh man, I should make him a fake wife. I feel like you'd send me something, Taylor.
To kill her so that we would feel bad for you? Is that where you're going with
No,
that?
no, like make him a dead wife, and then I get cakes sent to me.
Well, you could join my app, Widow or Won't You? Then how we verify people are really widows.
It all comes back around to our get rich very slow scheme of widow or won't you. I love it.
But then if people find out you're not actually a widow, then
They don't want the cakes back, right?
that's not great. Yeah, that's
There you go.
exactly what I send people with cakes. Oh my God,
So,
okay, keep going.
so this is gonna be like a 3 hour podcast. So we're back in Florida. So has a baby, husband's dead, fake husband's dead. I'm in Florida, husband's a war hero, he's dead. We're good. At this time, she meets a bus driver who knocks her up. So once again, she's pregnant and is with child. The bus driver, to his credit, decides that I'm going to do the honorable thing. I'm going to marry you for 6 months. He files for divorce 6 months after they get married. So he was like, this is like an in and out situation. So now you have this woman who has two children, is single, and is essentially a social pariah for multiple reasons. And she does what you do in that situation at that time is you put a personal ad in the paper saying you want to find someone to date and be with. So like the version of online dating we have today, essentially. That's when she attracts our next antagonist, Raymond Fernandez. Raymond was born in 1914 in Hawaii, so he's about 6 years older than Martha. His family moved to the mainland and settled in Connecticut. Given how early in time this was, there's not a ton about his childhood out there, other than the fact that he got like bladdered in the head pretty bad. So apparently he was on a ship when a giant steel hatch fell and crushed in his frontal lobe. So like the frontal lobe is what they jostle around when you have a lobotomy.
Nope.
So like it changes your
Yep.
personality pretty significantly. And by all accounts, this is the time when his personality kind of changed. He like went from being like kind of
Yeah.
like a normal dude to being well, they said he went from like a normal dude to being kind of like a womanizer, being really into like voodoo and black magic and shit like that, which kind of sounds cool, but probably not the way that he practiced it. So that's Raymond's situation.
Yeah, that guy sounds cool.
I mean, I'm not gonna tip my hat too far, but it's also worth noting that along the way he had a wife and 4 children in Spain in the middle of all this, by the way. So there you go.
Got it.
Raymond's work was to essentially like foolproof. His job was to answer personal ads from women, take them out, make them like him, and then steal whatever they had. That was his job. That's what he did full time. Raymond answers Martha's want ad, and from what I can gather, Raymond kind of had some game. I don't think it would have taken very much to woo someone like Martha, but whatever it took, Raymond, with his dented brain and fractured skull, were able to win her over. So Raymond at this time was living in New York. So I guess this is like national press or something, like doing want ads across the nation. And by this point, Raymond had pretty much abandoned his children and wife in Spain. So he was like, I'm done. I'm done with this old shit. I have this cool apartment in New York. And he eventually convinces Martha to come stay with him at his apartment in New York. But he tells Martha, look,
Hmm.
this is not like a kid's situation. Like I literally like I abandoned my 4 children. We don't need to add 2 of yours to this mix. So what Martha does is before she leaves Florida, she goes to the Salvation Army, which I didn't know this was a thing. You can drop kids off at the Salvation Army. Did you know that?
You can drop kids off at a lot of places. Yeah. I
Parents,
think the
there you
Salvation
go.
Army is like supposed to be more of a because it's like a yeah, I think that was like what it was for. I think in the beginning was like for things like that, like during the Depression. I'm making that up, but I think that's true. And then now I know you can drop babies off at like hospitals or fire departments. You can just drop them off. There's places like, like I think we talked about how in China before they had like the one baby rule, and there's places in China where people have like mailboxes for babies. Like just drop it off. Like please don't kill it. Just drop it off. A lot of like churches and those kind of organizations will just take babies because if people can't take care of them, like you want it's like you can right now in America you can no questions asked walk into a hospital, hand the first person you see working there your baby, and walk out, and you have the right to just disappear. And they had
That's
to
a
do
good
that
thing,
so people don't
right?
kill their babies. It's a good thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Apparently, you could also do that with the Salvation Army. So, parents, if you don't want your
Yeah.
kids, put them in a mailbox,
I think
maybe a
there's like a
PO
certain age
box.
difference. There's definitely like a limit. You can't drop like a 14-year-old off at the
I
hospital.
swear to God, if my parents knew that was an option, they probably would do it to me right now. But here we are. It's too late, mom and dad.
Uh,
So Martha goes to Salvation Army, drops her 2 children off, and then makes it all the way north to New York to be with Raymond. And I just can't imagine what the fuck Raymond's apartment was like or what it smelled like. It could not have been nice to be in that room. Raymond
hmm
ends up telling Martha how he makes money, and Martha didn't seem bothered by it. She decided that she kind of wanted in on it, and that she would act and pose as Raymond's sister. Because if you recall from when we talked about the Moors murders, having a female accomplice is like really great for like looking not like a crazy person. Like you just really helps a
Yeah,
lot.
totally.
And and so this kind of like escalated things. So Raymond and Martha, obviously they were in a sexual relationship. I think in Martha's mind they were like really really together. In Raymond's mind he was like, great, like this is fine. Like I can just do whatever I want, and she'll draw more women to me, and it's all good. That's how I interpret their relationship. So it's kind of implied that in most cases, Raymond would do the robbing and stealing before any consummation could be had, but that he would also sleep with some of these women, which was in the same apartment usually that him and Martha were living in, essentially. And this will make Martha super, super pissed off. So apparently, like, this
Wait, why
came
was
up,
he sleeping with those women? Who was he?
well, he would have sex with them and then steal their money.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got
So
it. Got it. Great.
he would take whatever he could in that situation. So Martha obviously was not a huge fan of this. One of these women was a 66-year-old woman named Janet Fay, and she ended up like Raymond would like wasn't just like robbing her, like he was stealing from her gradually. And so Raymond convinced Janet, the 66-year-old woman, that she should come live with him, that they're going to get married, they're going to be engaged, an engaged couple. And so it's kind of like a longer con than most of them. And so Janet goes and lives with Raymond and Raymond's sister Martha, as far as she knows. And one day, Martha sees the two of them in bed together. Raymond's asleep, Janet's asleep, they're in bed together, they're naked. Martha uses a
Okay.
hammer to bash Janet's head in. And in the middle of this, Raymond, thinking super quick, decided that he decided to help strangle Janet, which, like, it's not a bad move. If you're being caught cheating on your spouse, like, and she starts killing the person you're cheating on them with, like, your best bet is to kill that person with them, I think, right?
Yeah, sure.
Well, I mean, what else are you going to do?
Yeah, no, it's bad. This is a bad situation. But then I just got sad because I remember that this whole thing is about lonely heart people, and that's so sad that you're just like you would just want someone to love you, and then like someone kills you and steals your money.
I know, but
What a
listen,
bummer.
listen. Okay, like again, like we're gonna have a fight about this. So here's the thing: do you watch 90 Day Fiance?
No,
Oh my God, Taylor, you have
I
to
don't
start
really watch
watching it.
reality TV. I know, but okay. So I don't know. Maybe we're gonna agree and get to the same answer eventually, like we always do. But like, I think there's so many people in the world. I just don't understand why this happens. But
I'll,
also, I'm like,
I'll tell you exactly
I've
why
never
it
been
happens.
lonely. Okay, great.
Lucky you. So I'll tell you exactly why it
Yeah,
happens. Listen, if
go.
you're like in your 60s and like somebody who is beautiful in their 20s wants to be with you, it
That's what
is
I'm saying.
not
It's really
about your
sad.
personality. So
Yes,
I did the math. In this
exactly.
case, Raymond would have been about 28 to 31 years old, give or take, when this
Right. He
murder of
doesn't love
Janet
you.
happened. He was 66. Of course, he's not with you for your personality, Janet. You were
Yeah.
around when fucking Napoleon was invading Ukraine. I don't know science or history, but you get my point.
Far's not a scientist, you guys.
I'm not a scientist. I
No,
don't know
I no,
when.
100%. I totally agree with you. That's what makes it so sad because you're just like, maybe this is real. Maybe someone will love me, and then they don't, and they kill you, and it's sad.
Yeah, just like don't make yourself a victim. Just like don't be like, oh God, like
But you want to
Taylor.
believe it, don't you?
Taylor, listen to me. Listen to me. As my
I don't know what
friend,
I'm advocating for.
I don't know either. Listen, as my friend, if I ever am like, hey, I want to come, I want to come visit you guys in Joshua Tree, and I show up with like my 21-year-old supermodel girlfriend, okay? You
Yeah.
have to take me aside. You have to separate us, okay? Like you have to tie
She
me
does not
down.
love you.
Like Fars, look at you. Like this would never happen in real life.
It's not your charm. It's the
It is,
money. It's the millions of dollars you
it's
have
a
from making this podcast. That's why
it's
she
a
loves you.
it's a 33 cent Spotify is paying us.
We're not getting any money from Spotify. I have not seen the 33 cents.
I've been keeping. I know. I'm the one who registered it, so I'm pocketing that. Now Taylor knows.
Okay, keep going.
So, anyways, moving on. So, at this point, Janet's dead. Raymond like mostly didn't do anything, but like kind of was like, okay, I gotta keep Martha happy, so I better strangle this elderly woman. So they decided they want to skip town after that first murder, and they probably want kind of a little bit of a palate cleanser, move on with their relationship. So they ended up resettling in
Sure.
the suburbs of Grand Rapids, Michigan, where they meet a woman named Delphine Downing.
Wait,
So
stop.
yes,
Kelly, hi. Kelly's my friend from work, and she got a new job, and I haven't seen her in a few weeks, and I miss her, and I love her, and she listens to this show, and she's in Grand Rapids. So, hi, Kelly.
hi
Continue.
Kelly,
We're
thank
about,
you.
we're about to tell you a bad story about Grand Rapids, probably.
Tell your friends to listen to this, Kelly. We'd really love it. But yes, we are going to tell
Okay.
you about a story about Grand Rapids. So they made this woman. Her name is Delphine Downing, and Delphine let them into her home. She was a widower. Is that a widower or a widow? No, it's widow. Yeah, she's widowed.
A widow,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, she's a widow, and she has a
Interesting.
two-year-old
Could
daughter.
she have used? Could she have used an app?
She it would have done her much good if she had used an app. Um, so at this point, she's widowed. She has two daughters. She's a 2 year old daughter, and for some reason, she was possessed enough to let these two people in. I can only assume this was a V1 of like Airbnb, which was just like pay me $5 and you can stay in this extra room in my house. I don't know why else you let these people in.
Yeah. That's like most of human history, right? You could like go to someone's house and just like at least like stay in the barn.
I guess. Um, so apparently, this 2 year old daughter that Delphine had would cry constantly, and it like enraged Martha that this kid would cry. So at one point, she tried to strangle the 2 year old to death, and then like at the
Oh God.
very end, she decided to let up on the kid, and this ended up leaving a bunch of bruises all over the kid. Like the kid was just like bruised up and banged up, and they had nowhere to go. They were basically homeless. All they did was rob elderly women, and so Raymond, being a shrewd customer, once again proving how you can be sharp and make decisions on the fly, decided to shoot Delphine in the head rather than having to explain
Oh,
the bruises. Smart
oh my
move.
God. Did they kill the baby? I remember the baby.
Don't step on my outline.
No one knows what happened to the baby.
They decided to stay a bit longer at Delphine's house, along with the corpse and the much alive 2 year old daughter, whose crying,
Okay.
unsurprisingly, did not get less when
Oh,
her
oh
mom
really?
was rotting in the corner.
Oh my God,
So
that's so terrible. Oh,
So after a few days of this girl crying, Martha decides that it was best to just drown the baby and then bury both their bodies in the basement. So neighbors obviously get suspicious. This is one of those times when like you're gonna like it was the 1940s, like people cared about each other then. So neighbors groups, well, not everybody. They didn't care about the ones that didn't look like them, but they cared about their neighbors. So the neighbors
exactly.
grew
Okay, continue.
suspicious,
I get it.
and see, we both reached the same conclusion. See that?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
They called the police. The police showed up and they immediately arrest them too. Neither one of them had any property rights to the house. They had no keys to the house. It smelled like a dead body in there. So they're like, obviously, you guys did something. Raymond immediately confessed. Raymond doesn't sound smart. Raymond sounds like he suffered a catastrophic brain injury that was undiagnosed and untreated, is what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
He was
Oh my God.
told he was told that if he confesses to the crimes, they wouldn't extradite him to New York because at that time New York had the death penalty, Michigan didn't. So he was like, "I did it. I killed. We killed this woman and the kid. Just keep me in Michigan." They said, "Okay." He signed his name. That was a lie. They immediately pinned him with 17 random murders, which like even today nobody actually knows how many people they killed. They know for a fact they killed these three though. So on those three murders, Janet Delphine and the daughter, they were extradited to New York. They were both sentenced to death. And on March 8th, 1951, they were both put to death on the same day, which is kind of romantic. Like Lonely Hearts, kind of a sweet thing to do, I think, right?
That happens. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cute. It's kind of cute. Uh, and like I actually think that they were kind of pure in a way. So Raymond's last words were, quote, I want to shout it out. I love Martha. What do the public know about love? That's actually what it says.
Great.
What do the public know about love?
Mm-hmm. You
And
know.
man, like he really, really loved her. Oh, sorry, and Martha. So Martha ended up having her last meal, which apparently was ham, eggs, and coffee. Then her final statement was, quote, what does it matter who is. Wait, hold on. I can't read this. Sorry. Quote, what does it matter who is to blame? My story is a love story, but only those tortured with love can understand what I mean. I was pictured as a fat, unfeeling woman. I'm not unfeeling, stupid, or moronic. In the history of the world, how many crimes have been attributed to love? Really, she ended it stupid, but like she started it strong, I think.
I mean, so I feel like, yes, he probably was the first person to give her like ongoing attention, but they still, I mean, you're saying that they probably killed more people than this, or do you think that they did, or were they just like charged with their
No, I for
respectively?
sure think they did. I for sure like they killed a 2 year old. You don't start at killing 2 year olds. You graduate to killing 2 year olds.
Yeah, no, it's bad.
It's bad. It's all bad. But it is
Yeah.
interesting that by all accounts, I almost so usually in these situations, I think like the man manipulates the woman into doing things. In this case, you got a guy with fucking severe brain damage. And then
Hmm.
Martha's the aggressor
Hmm.
in like both situations. She strangled the daughter, and then she bashed Janet's skull in, or she bashed Janet's skull in with a hammer, then strangled the daughter. So like, I don't know. I think maybe like I think New York might have killed a handicapped man.
Yeah, no, I think that that could be true because he definitely had brain damage. He was definitely like a criminal because he was robbing people, but maybe he wouldn't have killed them if she hadn't been there to do it. But maybe like what made her do that?
They
I don't
do look
know.
like a cute couple though. Like I do aspire one day to like be in a relationship like this where we look at each other
You're happy.
and it's
They do look
Martha
happy.
Beck and look at that, they're so cute together. Oh
They are
my
cute.
god, they are so cute together. They're so happy.
Listen, I think she's cute. I think I do. Like she looks cute with her little flowers on, her little 40s haircut. And they like each other. I mean, they shouldn't have
What's
killed people.
he looks handicapped though, Taylor. Like he kind of I don't know. You know what I mean? Like he just his eyes look like they're going in different ways.
His head doesn't not look dented,
He kind of
you
has
know?
a Robert Duvall vibe to him. Okay,
I mean, it's very sad. It's sad. Oh, oh, I see a picture of the baby. Um,
tell me this guy
that's sad. And
has
I feel like
this guy right here. He does not have it all there, right?
no, I agree. And that's too bad.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it definitely has to do with his head injury, and maybe has to do with her feeling like no one would love her because her first two boyfriends, like or whatever, guys who got her pregnant, just like desperately didn't want to be with her. But you can just like meet someone who
Uh,
likes you and then not steal.
I just saw the baby picture.
What are you
What a cute
on?
little baby.
I know she's so cute. I mean, don't kill people is the answer. Is the obvious answer to this. Like the one guy did a great job by just like leaving if he didn't want to be with her, he just left. Fine. Like
He threw
don't kill
himself in
other
San
people. Like
Francisco
they
Bay.
well, he got out. He didn't die.
He got out. He
Um,
didn't die.
I mean, I don't know. Do you know more about her personality? I feel like
With
I want to
crimes like
know more
this,
about why you think that she was the one who made him do this.
with crimes like this that go back so far in time, like there wasn't a constant true crime. Nobody was poring over this shit constantly. It's like
Yeah.
details were sparse. Finding details about Raymond's life was like almost impossible. Like there was basically nothing out there because who the fuck is
Hmm.
documenting this shit?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm gonna see if they're in this book. In this, they're not. I want to see if they were in this um popular crime book. But yeah, no,
They were the
it's
original
I don't
Lonely
I feel like I don't
Hearts.
know more why. Yeah. And that's sad. It's sad when someone's like, I don't know, like there's so many stories of that, especially with the internet, where you could like pretend to be anyone, and like convince someone to give you money, tell someone that you love them, blah blah blah, and then take all their money, which is so sad.
I know.
Because you just want someone to love you. And there's people out there who want to be loved. And I say that again as someone who's never been lonely.
Lucky
So,
you, Taylor. Good for you.
I know. I'm saying I don't know. But
I am in a happy, healthy relationship. I might
I
add.
know. I'm very happy for you. Juan Carlos was looking at your pictures and he was like, "Ooh, who's this?" And we're excited to meet her.
My Insta post, my stories.
Yeah, you're making it
Yeah,
instant official.
yeah. It's yeah. Like we're very mature about it. It's all Insta official. No, we
Great.
went to a haunted house on Tuesday on Halloween.
Fun. Oh my God. Yeah, it was just Halloween. God, I feel like it is. I don't even know what the fuck is going on. I feel like my brain is like, please go to sleep for the rest of your life, which is not what I plan to do, but like, oh my God, I'm so tired. But yeah, so yeah, we went trick-or-treating and it was very fun because
Dude, Taylor, extend the trip. Extend the trip. Like stay longer and go do this road trip with us. Not a
Can't,
road
my
trip. It's
kids
not a
have to
road
go to
trip. It's
school.
like
I know. Kids have to go to school. When are you getting there?
so I get there. We get there like Friday at noon.
Okay. Yeah, we get there early, but we get there Wednesday, and then we're spending 2 days with Juan's parents, and then we're going to the wedding. Faraz and I are going to be together again we've seen each other so much this year. It's actually bananas that we live so far apart and have seen each other so much.
It's almost
Right.
too much.
We're gonna hang
But
out again in a
we can
few
actually
weeks.
we got to figure out a recording schedule for that weekend because I'm sure it's gonna be chaotic.
Yeah,
We'll find a place to
yeah, we
record.
gotta
It'll be
figure it out.
fun.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm super excited. Our friend Jay and Beth are getting married. Jay also I just got out of the whole month of watching scary movies with Jay, and it was so fun. Jay does a wonderful scary movie calendar, and Forrest pretends to be grateful for it every year, but never joins.
I'm always grateful for it. I just don't join because there's other shit. They're doing it on East Coast time. I'm on Central time. Taylor's on Pacific. Like it is hard to
But then
align
there's a couple,
calendars.
well, we worked it out, and there's a couple nights a week where Jay would stay up late and watch movies with us, and we ended with The Others, which I'm sure you love.
Is that the one with
Do you
Nicole
love Others?
Kidman?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh my God. So good. So he always ends with a classic. We did that one, and then we did Exorcist 3. Oh, there's also, this has nothing to do with anything. There's also a new Insidious with Patrick Wilson, and I was like looking at it, and I was like, ooh, Insidious. And my husband was like, cool, you want to watch it? And I was like, yeah. And then I'm like, oh my God, he like one listens to all of our podcasts, so he listened to me defending my love for Patrick Wilson for like 5 minutes. I'm like, you're just, I'm so
Wait,
sorry about Carlos.
is that the Devil on Trial one?
No, no, no. Um, that one is, that's actually a documentary. That one about the story of that was The Devil Made Me Do It, was the
Devil Made Me Do It.
Conjuring.
Yeah.
This is Insidious. Insidious is like Patrick Wilson where he's like
Uh,
followed around by like that devil monster where it's like the devil like
yeah.
behind him in the thing and like Rose Byrne, he's married to Rose Byrne. Anyway, I definitely want to watch that later. We're almost finished the Fall of the House of Usher, which has been so good. It's like a
Okay, Taylor.
scary
So
thing.
I watched the first episode of that, and I
Hmm.
had one of those nightmares where I was like,
Mm.
I fucking the nightmare was this. I still remember to this day. So I watched the episode. You know that scene in the beginning where or it's like the first half of the movie where like the mom's obviously dead, and the guy's like, "She's behind you. You can turn around."
Hmm.
It's like, "I'm not gonna do this. If I turn around, it's a
Hmm.
negotiation." And like the
Hmm.
thing,
Hmm. Hmm.
oh my
It was
god.
great. I've jumped several times watching the show. I like that whole group, that their vibe. They do all those scary shows like the Hill House and all of that, and I like it. It was fun. I jumped a couple times
So
so
no,
far. So we have one more episode.
Taylor, I woke up because the dream was, and it felt so real. I went to the shower, like I felt like I woke up and I was gonna go take a shower, and I was in the shower and I heard a scratching behind the wall, and I put my ear up against it saying, "I'm still here." It like whispered, "I'm still here," and I just fucking lunged into my bed, and I woke up and like I was like, "Oh my God, did I dream that? Or did that really happen?" It was so scary.
That was really scary.
Yeah, that's why I only
Your
did one
house is old
episode.
too.
I was old. I only did one episode and I can't do any more because I was like, I can't watch this alone. Like, I'll get too scared.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Oh my God, I love it. Yeah, it's really scary. Yeah, so I'm going to continue to do a little bit of that. But then it's Thanksgiving before we know it. And then we'll be in North Carolina, and then it'll be Christmas, and then it'll be next year, and then we'll do it all again.
Fuck yeah. Hopefully.
Fuck yeah.
Um,
Keep doing it.
sweet.
Cool.
Taylor,
Well, thank you. That was terrible and sad. I'm sad for people who are lonely.
which Taylor wouldn't know. She
If you're
wouldn't
lonely,
even know
send
what
us an
it's like.
email.
Taylor wouldn't even know what
I
being lonely
mean,
is like.
I've been single for like 4 months since I started dating people when I was 15. So, you know,
Tough,
it is what
tough
it is.
life. But yes, if you
Um,
are lonely, write to us. Tell us what it's like to be a
yeah.
social pariah. Tell us what it's like to not know love and to know that it never will come for you.
Well, you should get a therapist. You should talk to them.
Me or
Just, oh yeah, yeah. No, you, yes. But I mean everyone. We should all get therapists and try to figure it out. But lonely heart stuff is so sad because you want so much for someone to love you, and then you get someone who's like maybe a criminal, or maybe you would you do it if you were separate? Who knows? And there's all those like just horrible things of people not even killing anyone, but like just taking someone's money, because they're emotionally invested. And that grifting is just so sad.
Be
This doesn't
funner.
sound like that, but it was sad.
If you're in this category, just learn a fun hobby and throw yourself into something interesting and fun. And before you know it, you'll wake up and be doing a podcast with your friend.
True. I like it. That is a
All
good way
right.
to end this.
I'm
I
gonna
think we
go
got
ahead
there.
and cut. We got there. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off. Thank you, Taylor.
Social media at Doomed to Fail, doomedtofailpod@gmail.com.
All the
Oh, yeah.
things.